Once upon a time in a small town nestled in the shadow of the mighty Himalayas, there lived a man named Rajiv. He was an ordinary man with an extraordinary dream, to conquer Mount Everest, the highest peak on earth. This dream had been nurtured in him since he was a young boy, listening to his grandfather's tales of the great Himalayan expeditions. And as the years passed, it grew into an unquenchable fire within him. Rajiv had spent his childhood exploring the foothills of the Himalayas, climbing smaller peaks, and honing his mountaineering skills. He devoured books about legendary climbers and their conquests, learning every technique and strategy they employed. He knew that if he ever wanted to reach the top of Everest, he had to be prepared, mentally and physically, for the challenges it would present. His opportunity came one fateful day when he received a letter from the Himalayan Mountaineering Institute. They had selected him to join an expedition to Mount Everest, led by the renowned mountaineer, Captain Nima Sherpa. Rajiv's heart leaped with joy as he read the letter. This was his chance, and he was determined to make the most of it. Months of intense training followed. Rajiv pushed his limits, climbing higher and higher peaks, enduring freezing temperatures, and mastering the use of climbing equipment. He knew that the key to surviving Everest lay in being as prepared as possible. Finally, the day arrived when Rajiv, along with his fellow climbers, stood at the base of Everest. The mountain loomed above them, its icy peaks shimmering in the morning sun. It was both a majestic and terrifying sight. Rajiv felt a mixture of excitement and trepidation as he took his first step onto the icy terrain. The journey to the summit was grueling. The climbers faced harsh weather conditions, avalanches, and the ever-present risk of altitude sickness. Many turned back, unable to bear the physical and mental strain. But not Rajiv. He drew strength from the dream that had fueled him for so long. Captain Nima Sherpa, their leader, was a pillar of support and wisdom throughout the expedition. He had summited Everest numerous times and knew every inch of the mountain. His guidance was invaluable, and he helped Rajiv and the team navigate the treacherous terrain. As they climbed higher, the air grew thinner, and every step became an arduous struggle. Rajiv's body ached, and his lungs burned with each breath. But he pressed on, determined to reach the summit. One fateful night, as they were making their final push to the top, disaster struck. A sudden and violent storm descended upon them, with winds that threatened to sweep them off the mountain. The temperature plummeted, and visibility became almost non-existent. Caught in the storm, Rajiv and his fellow climbers huddled together in their tents, their hearts heavy with fear. They knew that the summit attempt was now a perilous gamble. Captain Nima made the difficult decision to turn back and abandon the summit bid. It was a heartbreaking moment for Rajiv, but he trusted Nima's judgment. The descent was a harrowing ordeal. They battled against blinding snow, fierce winds, and the ever-present danger of avalanches. At times, it felt like a fight for survival rather than a climb. Days turned into weeks as they made their way down the mountain, and Rajiv's body grew weaker with each passing day. He suffered from frostbite, and his fingers and toes turned black. The pain was excruciating, but he refused to give up. He had come too far to quit now. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached the base camp. Rajiv's frostbitten limbs were a testament to the brutal conditions they had endured. He was airlifted to a hospital in Kathmandu, where doctors fought to save his limbs from amputation. The road to recovery was long and painful, but Rajiv was determined to regain his strength. He underwent multiple surgeries and months of rehabilitation. Through it all, he held on to his dream of standing on the summit of Everest. 1 year later, Rajiv returned to Everest, this time with a renewed sense of purpose. He joined another expedition and, with the lessons he had learned from his previous attempt, reached the summit. As he stood on the top of the world, he felt a profound sense of accomplishment and gratitude. He had not only conquered the mountain but also his own limitations. Rajiv's incredible journey became an inspiration to many. His story of resilience and determination spread far and wide, motivating others to pursue their dreams, no matter how daunting they may seem. Rajiv's triumphant return from Everest was celebrated not only in his hometown but also throughout Nepal. He became a local hero, and his story was featured in newspapers and on television. People from all walks of life were inspired by his resilience, and he received numerous invitations to speak at schools and events, sharing his experiences and the lessons he had learned. One of the most touching moments of Rajiv's journey was when he received a letter from a young boy named Aarav. Aarav was battling a serious illness and had spent most of his life in and out of hospitals. He had watched Rajiv's expedition on television and was deeply moved by his determination. Aarav's letter expressed his admiration for Rajiv and his own dream of someday conquering his illness. Touched by Aarav's words, Rajiv visited him in the hospital. They formed an instant bond, and Rajiv became a mentor and source of strength for the young boy. He shared stories of his Everest journey and the importance of never giving up, no matter how difficult the circumstances. Aarav's spirit was uplifted, and he faced his illness with newfound courage and hope. Rajiv's story continued to evolve as he became involved in various charitable endeavors. He used his newfound fame and resources to support mountaineering programs for underprivileged youth, giving them the opportunity to explore the world of mountains and adventure. He also established a foundation to provide medical and educational assistance to remote Himalayan communities, but Rajiv's own adventures were far from over. He set his sights on new challenges, including climbing other formidable peaks around the world. Each expedition came with its own set of obstacles and dangers, but Rajiv faced them all with the same determination that had seen him through his Everest journey. One particularly challenging climb took him to the unforgiving slopes of K2, the second highest peak in the world. The climb was treacherous, with steep cliffs and unpredictable weather. It was a test of Rajiv's mountaineering skills and mental fortitude. But once again, he stood on the summit, proving that his Everest success was no fluke. Rajiv's story became a testament to the power of the human spirit. He showed that with unwavering determination, even the most daunting challenges could be overcome. His life was a living example of the mantra he often shared with others: before going to bed, dream big and wake up with the determination to make those dreams come true. As the years passed, Rajiv continued to inspire people around the world with his adventures and philanthropic work. His name became synonymous with perseverance and courage, and whenever someone faced a seemingly insurmountable obstacle, they would say, "If Rajiv can conquer Everest, I can overcome this." And so, before going to bed, remember the incredible journey of Rajiv, the man who survived an extreme Everest expedition and went on to conquer even greater heights. His story reminds us that no dream is too big, no challenge too daunting, and no setback too insurmountable when you have the heart of a true adventurer.